I'm Christy.
Standing in the cold courthouse, looking at my brother Ryan hunched over with a guilty expression, I knew that this moment was the result of a long, standing storm in my life. My family has always been a place where success is highly valued. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, are all about status and achievement. My father is a strict businessman who values reputation above all else, and my mother is a socialite who loves to show off her family's success. Ryan, my younger brother, is their pride and joy. At 28, he's a rising star in the medical field, with a fancy title at the local hospital and a knack for charming everyone around him. I, on the other hand, have always been the black sheep. After 15 years as a firefighter, I left the department. The reason? A life-changing incident in a small town near the mountains. We got a call about an abandoned cabin engulfed in flames. It was our second fire that day, and we were exhausted. But I went in, against my better judgment. Inside, the smoke was so thick it was like a living thing, and the wood creaked ominously. Then, I heard a faint cough. I found a man, his suit charred, barely conscious. I knew I couldn't leave him. Dragging him out was a nightmare. A beam fell behind us, and my right arm caught fire for a split second, searing the skin. I blacked out as we hit the fresh air. I spent 10 months in rehab, learning to do the simplest things again. My family? They never really asked about my injuries. When I showed up with my arm in a cast, they just gave me disappointed looks, as if I'd let them down by leaving my honorable job. They whispered about my new job, teaching kids survival skills in a small community center. They made snide remarks about it being a hobby rather than a real job. I moved to a small apartment above a flower shop. I focused on my students who saw me for what I was, a teacher who could help them stay alive. They didn't care about my scars or my past. They just wanted to learn. One day, Ryan called me out of the blue, inviting me to a first responders gala. His boss would be there, and he said it would be good for me to show my face. I knew it was more about making me look presentable for his social circle, but I decided to go. I dug out my old firefighter uniform, the one that still smelled of smoke. At the gala, I was standing on the sidelines when an older man in a sharp suit approached me. "Were you at the mountain fire a few years ago?" he asked. I froze. He stepped closer and said, "You saved my life. I've been looking for you." The room fell silent as he announced it to everyone. I received a $200,000 state heroism grant, which I'd never told my family about. After the gala, I got an invitation to a family dinner. I thought maybe they finally saw me for who I was. But it was all a ruse. During dinner, Ryan mentioned that he needed funding for his research. He wanted a portion of my grant. I refused, and the atmosphere turned cold. A week later, Ryan showed up at my door, asking for $40,000 because he'd gambled away a large sum in Las Vegas. He threatened me, saying that if I didn't help, it would stain my reputation too. I said no. Then, things took a turn for the worse. A Reddit post appeared, claiming that I was hoarding the grant while my family was in trouble. It was clearly Ryan's doing. Parents started pulling their kids from my classes, and I received a flood of negative emails. One day, I came home to find my apartment ransacked and a threatening note inside. I reached out to the man I'd saved, Dr. Miller. He'd hired a private investigator and had evidence of Ryan's forgery and theft. With his help, I gathered the courage to go to court. In court, the prosecutor presented all the evidence. Ryan looked like a broken man. The judge asked if I wanted to speak. I stood up and said, "I'm not here out of hatred. I'm here because silence made me small. I'm done being overlooked." The judge sentenced Ryan to full restitution, suspension from medical practice, and mandatory rehab. That night, I used the remaining grant money to open a place called the Spark Center, where kids could learn not only about fire safety, but also about self-respect and standing up for themselves. A week later, Dr. Miller came to me with a small box. Inside was a silver ring with a flame engraved on it. "Let's build something that lasts," he said. And I knew that I'd finally found my place, away from the shadows of my family's expectations. Later, I found a letter from my parents. We see you now, and we're proud. I folded the letter quietly. I was never the one to be overshadowed. I was always the spark that could light up the darkness.